Nicole? Nicole? Did you really get a divorce? I overheard some of this from Mom and Dad. Now that I think about it, I never did tell you, did I, Tessa? Actually, just last month, Kyle and I got a divorce. There were a few reasons behind why it happened to us, but there was no working our way around them. Dang! That's freaking hilarious, actually. I can't believe things happened just like I imagined they would with you getting divorced only a few months after marriage. What? People say that beautiful women only have 3 days before their man gets tired of their looks, right? And no matter how beautiful of a woman you are, Nicole, you can't just expect to keep a husband around with your looks. So no wonder things didn't last. Everyone should know by now that it's more about what's on the inside than what's on the outside when it comes to women. Huh? In other words, just because your face is nice, that doesn't mean that Kyle really felt that attached to you internally. Honestly, I'm not sure how a handsome and elite man like Kyle even got married to you in the first place. Well. That's what happens when you're nothing more than looks. And now that you have a divorce under your belt, you're screwed. Hey, Tessa, your older sister just had a divorce and you're not even going to try to comfort her? Who is wanting to comfort you? If anything, I'm happy that you got divorced. The more and more unhappy you are, the better I feel about myself. What did you say? Ever since you were a teen, you've always lived in the spotlight due to your good looks, right? And all of the people I had a crush on went to you because you looked so pretty. Because of you, I was always having to cry myself to sleep at night knowing I would never be able to get a man myself with you around. But now the tables have finally turned. The fact that I'm now doing a ton better than you at this game called life really does bring great tears of joy to my eyes. Huh? After all, I was able to get married before you, right? And right now I'm pregnant with the child of a man that loves me. Right now I'm living a life that is tens of times more joyful and exciting than yours. What? You're pregnant now? Well, that's some really good news. Congrats. How many months are you along now? 5 months now, and that's why starting next week, I'll be coming back home to Mom and Dad's house. What? You're coming home? When I went and talked with Dad about it, he told me that you've hunkered down at their place ever since your divorce. The fact that your reason for being back home with Mom and Dad was so sad compared to mine made me laugh my butt off. I never said that I was sad about what happened or about having to come home to Mom and Dad's house. You trying so hard to look tough now only makes you look more depressing. I'm sorry. You just got divorced from Kyle and all and are really down in spirit. And, well, I just went and showed you how happy my life is, which is probably something you didn't want to see. I hope you don't take your anger and jealousy out on me when I come back home with my baby. I would never take anything out on you. I made the right choice, focusing on becoming a better person on the inside instead of the outside like you. When it comes to marriage, it's all about what's on the inside and not about what's on the outside, right? I went and studied cooking at school and learned how to clean and do laundry, and I also studied how to behave like a woman. After studying all of those things, my skills grew as a woman, and I was able to get married early and start a wonderful life with my husband. Yet you, who only ever focused on your beauty and such, never made it past dating men and has to live with your failures for the rest of your life. You're starting to become really energetic over there, Tessa. Are you really that happy about the fact that I had a divorce? I'm not happy about the divorce itself. I'm happy that I finally finished on top above you and am living the life you wish you could have. Now, starting next week, I'll be seeing you back at Mom and Dad's house. And when you see my large belly carrying my baby, you can break down and cry some more.
Hey, Nicole. You know about how today Tessa will be coming home, right? That's why I've made sure to put a lot of your things in the storage room down in the basement.
What?
While you've been out doing things, I took the chance to move a lot of your stuff, and starting today, your room is being used by Tessa, which means you'll be living in the basement from now on.
Hold on a second, Dad. Why do I have to go and live down there? Isn't her room still open and ready for her to live in?
I thought you noticed that I turned her room into my study, and I wasn't going to make someone as important as a pregnant woman sleep on the couch. That's why I'm having her take your room from you. A shameful divorced woman like you can go live in the cold and dark basement now.
Excuse me?
Jesus Christ, you really have lost everything you once had. When you were younger, I could brag about you all day because you were my cute little girl. But after just 3 months of being married, you ended up getting divorced and had to come all the way back here. Because of you, your mom and I have become a laughingstock to the whole neighborhood.
Are you freaking kidding me? Who the hell is at fault for me having to come all the way back to your house?
Excuse me?
Both you and Mom started to say some terrible things to Kyle. The moment you both learned that he was making over $100,000 a year, you both started to talk about his money all the time and asking when he was going to give some of it to you both. Then, when he would try to refrain from talking about his income, you both started to tell him that he had to send you both $3,000 a month in order to pay for you guys to remodel the house. And after weeks of you both constantly badgering him for his money, he finally drew the line and said we needed to get a divorce.
Shut your mouth. We gave up our cute little girl so that he could have a wife, so we assumed he would be willing to give us some money in return for you.
Am I some kind of object to you then?
Yet instead, that bastard returned you back to us. We don't need some kind of divorced daughter in our family. You are worthless to us now. And after all that work getting your mom to give birth to such a beautiful girl like you, and after all the work I put in to make sure you had the best cosmetics to boost your beauty even further, now all you are to this family is a shameful burden that we don't want to be seen.
Huh?
All you're good for is your face. And had you used that face to get us a man with lots of money, we would have been pleased. Then he could have used his money to take care of your mom and I, as well as the house. And we were so close to it with that bastard, but he never once sent us the money we asked for and sent you back to us with a divorce.
So that's how you've always thought of me, huh, Dad? The fact that all you could think of me as was a way of making money makes both you and Mom frickin' jokes.
The only joke here is you, a beautiful lady with a divorce record, loses almost all her worth in this world. All you have is a good-looking face, while inside you're nothing but sadness. You got all of our hopes up for nothing. All you've done is bring great shame to this family. And that means that from now on, your mom and I will be putting all of our attention towards Tessa and not a drop of it into you.
What?
I get that unlike you, Tessa isn't all that pretty. I never had very high hopes for her before, but she did get married before you and now has a baby on the way. Which means that very soon here, your mom and I will have our first cute grandbaby coming from her. She's the best daughter ever. Her husband isn't making as much as I hoped for, but with a little push, I'm sure we can get him some promotions. Thank goodness your mom and I had 2 daughters, just in case something like this happened.
You are being such a dick right now that I'm actually starting to really hate you. How can someone like you even be my father? Honestly, thinking about it thoroughly, you and Mom, along with Tessa, should all be ashamed of yourselves.
How dare you say that when you're the one living in our house? Anywho, you're gonna be living down in the storage room in the basement from now on, and there you can think about the person you really are to this family.
Why is this happening to me now? I've been making sure to not get in your way while you're back home getting ready to have your baby. And I've remained quiet about the fact that I need to sleep down in the basement now. Just having a divorced woman like you in the house is more than enough to get in our way. Just having the aura of a single used-up woman in the basement pisses me off. You just being around us has left this house smelling like sadness and despair. Huh? Mom and Dad have been saying the same things as well. And they would like for a shameful daughter like you to get out of their house as soon as possible. They've also been calling you this household's parasite. Excuse me? Of course you divorced women are all terrible at being kind to others. I heard that Mom and Dad have even been looking for another man for you to marry. Yet you continue to say no to every single one of them. And that's why all three of us have been sighing about you being nothing more than a pain in the butt. I never asked Mom or Dad to go out looking for another man for me, so of course I'm going to be telling every one of them no. And to make things even more creepy, most of the men they bring me are in their 60s. To them, all they care about is that the man has money and nothing else. Are you really in a position to choose what man you get next? Especially when you're only good for your face and have a history of divorce under your belt now. Huh? I think Mom and Dad have finally come around to understanding it. Just because their daughter looks good doesn't mean that she'll be able to bring them any fortune after getting married to a rich man. And that all you are is useless baggage. Just yesterday they told me that the only daughter they need now is me, since I'm someone they can still feel proud of. What? In the past, Mom and Dad only ever cared about you because you had really good looks. And them spoiling you all the time like that really made me jealous of you. But finally, after so long, they both are finally looking at me. They've even started asking me if I'd like to move back in with them for good, with my husband, of course. I see. So, really, right now I'm nothing more than said useless baggage. But forcing me out of the house out of left field like this? I don't care whether this pisses you off or not. Women like you, who've already had a divorce and are single now, deserve to live alone. Get out of the house right now, you parasite. Are you sure? Well, don't mind if I do. Huh? I'm really going to leave the house now then. I've been waiting for this day for a long time now. After having been treated like trash in that house ever since the divorce, I am so happy to finally have a chance to leave. What is going on here? Why are you so happy? Do you have any idea what's going on right now? Are you screwed in the head or something? You shouldn't be that happy about being kicked out of this house. I know exactly what's going on here. I am being kicked out of Mom and Dad's house and can finally be free again. Now I can finally go back to my beloved Kyle and make things right with him. What? After being kicked out by him, you're going to go back? He didn't just get rid of me for no reason. We had a plan behind the divorce, and I was actually the one to divorce him. Actually, the correct way to look at it is I asked for the divorce. Huh? The reason I asked for the divorce is because of Mom and Dad. By having them around us all the time, I just knew things weren't going to end up well for Kyle. Both of them kept pestering him about how he needed to start sending them money because they allowed me to marry him. It was driving the both of us up the wall. So in the end, I asked him for a divorce so that he didn't have to deal with them any longer. I seriously could not stand all the crap Mom and Dad were saying. So we made a plan to divorce for a little while until I had gone and dealt with Mom and Dad for good. So you really asked for a divorce and then went back to Mom and Dad's house? And the timing for it was perfect, as Kyle was about to leave on an overseas business trip. Which, by the way, has now turned into him living overseas for a while. I knew him leaving would be the perfect chance, and so we signed the divorce papers and then were able to get away from one another for a bit. I didn't want to let Mom and Dad get anywhere near him anymore, so I went home saying that he was the one who divorced me. I told them that he was tired of me being nothing but pretty and left me for another woman who actually had a personality. But that's not the real reason at all, right? Kyle was crying the day he had to sign the divorce papers, saying he would be lonely without me for the next few months. What? The other option we had was me completely cutting ties to both Mom and Dad and then leaving the country with him. But I still had some respect for both Mom and Dad since they raised me. I was hoping that after moving back home I could sit down with them and talk things over about why the divorce really had to happen. But neither of them would ever listen to me. They seemed to think that since I was the reason for the divorce, I was an embarrassment to them and used that reason to always pick on me. That was going on this whole time and only became worse the moment you came home with your baby. So for the past couple of weeks, I've already been preparing myself to leave this place and never come back. Is that right? I thought that before I left, I could at least stick around and see you having your cute little baby. And that's why I've kind of been holding off from leaving in the middle of the night. But the dreariness of living in the basement now and always having to listen to you talking crap about me has really changed my heart for good. Things have been really getting to the point now where I just couldn't stand any of you anymore, so thank you for kicking me out today. So now you're going to go find Kyle and remarry him? Yes, that's the plan. I just got off a video call with him a little bit ago while I was at the park. I was telling him that things were getting so bad here that I'd be coming out to see him soon. And you know what Kyle said? Hurry up and come be with me again. I never thought that you and him were still talking. Well, it doesn't matter to me whether you've had plans of getting back together with your ex or not. Both Mom and Dad are done with you. And now I've become their one and only daughter, which means that from now on, they'll both be spoiling me. And if you decide to really live with them for good luck to you. It's not going to be as hard as you think. I was planning to come and live with them for a long time now, and when I'm here, they both can't help but spoil me and their soon-to-be-born grandbaby. And I also plan to help them by putting some money into their wallets, unlike their greedy first daughter. So you and your husband will be giving them the $3,000 a month they asked Kyle and I for? That's a lot more money than I expected from you guys. What? Mom and Dad were trying to force Kyle to give them $3,000 a month. Which means they will be asking that much from you guys now, right? They also told us that we needed to pay them to get the house remodeled. So you guys will be handling that now too, right? After all, you both are going to be living with Mom and Dad forever soon, right? Wait a sec, what? You're lying about the $3,000 a month thing, right? Good luck. I need to get home to grab all my things and then get ready to go and see my man again.
Hey, Nicole. I heard about this from Tessa. You've left the house and are getting back together with Kyle? If you've really decided to get remarried to that elite, then I'll forgive you. So, you come back to this house right now.
Huh? You have Tessa and her husband there now, right? My room is also taken, so there's no place for me to sleep in that house now, right? And actually, I don't even want to go back there, so it's fine.
I'll kick both Tessa and her man out right now, so you need to come back here now.
What?
I never thought that Tessa and her husband could be such a useless couple. Even though I was being so generous by kicking you out and having them come live here, neither of them have any money.
They only just moved in and you're already wanting them out? You're supposed to be getting a cute little grandbaby soon as well, yet you want to kick them out and onto the streets?
I look forward to the baby, but I don't want to take care of it or the two useless lovers. Yet for some reason, Tessa keeps telling your mom and I that we have to be the ones to take care of her baby. And that's not all. She's asking us to pay for her baby.
What? She has?
I was really happy when she agreed to live here again with us and her husband. And she told me she'd give us some money every month as well to help out. So when I went and told her to give us the $3,000 we needed, she told me she couldn't pay it. She told me she was only thinking of giving us $100 a month.
I knew that you'd want to get that $3,000 from them as well. But to be honest with you, I don't think they were even planning on paying you that $100.
$100 for allowing them to live here is way too little. That's why I tried to make a deal by saying next time they just had to pay me $1,000. But when I said that, she told me it would be impossible for them. And after she told me the reason for why that is, I learned that her husband had lost his company job.
Seriously?
Right now he's working as some sort of a contractor of sorts. But this year he won't be making the same kind of money he made at that company before. And that meant each month they can only pay me $100 and nothing more. It turns out that after giving birth to her baby, Tessa wants to go to work as well. And that's why she's asked your mom and I to take care of the baby.
So not only is she willing to hand over $100 a month to live with you and Mom, but she's also asking you to take care of her baby when she's had it?
She's also asking that we give her money for the baby. She said that because she has to go through all that work to give us a cute grandbaby, we needed to reward her. She also handed your mom and I a list of things she wants us to buy for her baby before she gives birth.
Really?
I never thought that our Tessa was such a selfish and greedy child. Things have gone way off the rails now. I had to have a talk with your mom about her. And in the end, we decided that we had to get you to come back. If you're gonna get back together with Kyle again, then I don't care about you having a divorce before. Come back to your parents' house right now.
You all are quite some selfish idiots, aren't you? You already kicked me out of your house thinking about yourselves, yet are now asking for me back? Say that all you'd like, but it's not happening. I've run off with my man now, and we are no longer living in the U.S.
What did you say? You guys already left the country?
I don't ever want to go back to a crappy family like yours. So no matter how much you tell me to come back, I'm not.
Then at least send us some money. I won't ask for such a selfish amount as $3,000, all right? Just $1,000 will do. That should be nothing for your husband to have to pay us, right?
Huh? We're not going to give you guys a penny, even. I can't believe you have the balls to be asking Kyle and I for money after all you've done to me.
What? I just lowered the amount by 2/3 and you're still not going to pay? We are your parents, Nicole. It is your duty as a child to do everything for your parents and be a good kid.
I don't have any parents, though. I cut ties to the both of them already and am a lonely child now.
What?
So you can forget about any money coming from me. I will not allow a penny of the money my husband works so hard for to go into your greedy little pockets.
Hey, you're lying. Your mom and I raised you from a little tiny baby. What do you think you're doing, throwing both of your parents away after they birthed you as a beautiful woman?
You both were the ones to throw me out first, right? So cut the BS trying to act like you're the victims now.
What did you just say?
I had tried for months to get you and Mom to sit down and talk with me about resolving some of the issues we'd had. I wanted to tell you both that you couldn't use my husband as an ATM. But neither you or Mom would ever give me a second of your time and would just continue to talk to me like I was a disgrace. And now the results of those actions are this. Your daughter cutting ties to you and running off forever.
I won't allow this. I won't allow my daughter to tell me that she's cutting ties to us.
Well, tough crap, because I just said it and I'll say it again and again. I have cut ties to you and Mom and will never be going back to that hell. As for your guys' contacts, I'm deleting them right now. And if we ever move back to the US, I'm not telling you anything, because I don't ever want to see you guys again.
What?
The only daughter you and Mom have now is Tessa. Yet now you're trying to kick her out of your house. If you do that, you won't have any kids to be proud of anymore.
I don't want that. I need you guys around me so that I don't have to work anymore in my old age.
Well, you can't ask me for help anymore, so the only person you have left is her. I'm not even going to your funeral when you kick the can. That's how much I despise both Mom and you. What am I going to do, Nicole? I'm most likely going to be getting divorced here soon. What? What's going on with you now? I get that a lot had to happen before, but weren't you finally able to live at Mom and Dad's house with your husband and baby? And I've heard from others that you guys all living together has been going well. Up until now, things have somehow worked out, but ever since I had the baby, things went downhill. The family is falling apart now. Oh? Last week I finally had my baby. But since then, my husband and everyone have been terrible to me. They take a look at my baby and call it a monkey and wonder why it's so ugly. Seriously? And Dad keeps going on about how you were cute the moment you were born, and so this baby should be cute as well. Mom, Dad, and my husband all say they can't love my baby if it's this ugly, so neither of them will be helping us raise it now. All they keep saying are these terrible things about my baby, and I just can't stand it anymore. That really does suck, doesn't it? And this has led to my husband becoming really upset with me now. Because not only has his baby turned out to be ugly, but both Mom and Dad have started to drill into him about his job. They keep asking him when he's going to find a proper job again and stop working as a contractor. And then they go on about how he needs to find a job and start putting that money into the house, or else he'll become a parasite like you were. And after a few days of that, my husband got fed up and left the house. Wow. I could see anyone leaving the house after having to hear all of that. But I only just had our baby. Right now my husband is going to live somewhere else, and neither Mom or Dad are willing to help with their grandbaby. I can't take it anymore, Nicole. I haven't even been able to sleep ever since having this baby. But you shouldn't be crying to me about all of that. I'm no longer a part of that family, so I don't really care about what happens to you there. Why are you being so cold to me? Why is everyone being so mean to me now? All I did was move back home with Mom and Dad, hoping to have a fun and relaxing life here. I also thought that I was finally becoming Mom and Dad's most important daughter. And I thought that they'd both spoil me and my baby by taking care of them for me. And if you end up having to get a divorce now, things will only suck worse. You'll finally become that divorced, single, useless woman that you were making fun of me for being. I don't want to become divorced. I have to become happier than you no matter what. I have to avoid this divorce and make things right with Mom and Dad. I have to win against you or else I'll... You really are an idiot for thinking that life is all about winning and losing. If you really only care about winning and nothing else, then how about you do that with your own strength instead of relying on putting down others in order to do so? I'm not sure if you'll ever be able to dig your way out of that hole now, though, but I don't really care. This soon led to Tessa blowing up in front of the both of them, and she began to throw things around the house in a fight against her Mom and Dad's selfishness. Tessa and her dad really got into it during that fight, and all their yelling about how terrible of parents they were, and about how terrible of a daughter she was, rang out through the neighborhood. Those words would leave an everlasting impression on the area, as all of the residents now refer to Tessa and her Mom and Dad as trashy and shameful. I sure do feel bad for the newborn that lives in that house with those 3 horrible people, but hopefully it makes it to an age where it can move out of there on its own and never have to be around any one of them again. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.